Turning now to the conflict in the Middle East, clashes have continued between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, despite President Trump saying that both sides have agreed to a pause in the fighting. In a post to Truth Social, the president said he spoke to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Hezbollah representatives. Trump said Netanyahu agreed not to raid Beirut. Meanwhile, Axios reports that the phone call between the president and Prime Minister Netanyahu was expletive-laden. They say Trump scolded Netanyahu for Israeli operations in Lebanon. For more on this, we're joined by CBS News Middle East contributor Courtney Kealy. Courtney, first of all, I can't remember the last time a sitting U.S. president spoke to anybody or the leadership of Hezbollah. You can remind me when the last time was that happened, if it's happened ever. But these ongoing clashes between Israel and Hezbollah come as Israel and that country are scheduled to hold more talks. You and I spoke yesterday about the fact that whatever the president's intentions are in the region, you will need Israel to go along with it. And so far, the president hasn't been able to get that across the finish line, in addition to getting the ceasefire or getting the war, wrapping up the war.
Right. So Lebanon and Israel have now become a critical part of the U.S.-Iran talks because Iran has their proxy, their largest proxy, Hezbollah, and they haven't been disarmed. We saw those pagers. We saw the explosive a few years ago. Israel trying to get rid of Hezbollah, and they haven't done it. So first of all, I have never heard of a sitting president speaking to any kind of Hezbollah representative before. However, it started through the Speaker of Parliament, Nabi Berri. He's a known figure. He was key during the Civil War. He's a Shia, and he helped negotiate that through intermediaries. So there wasn't direct contact. He didn't pick up the phone and speak to the Secretary General of Hezbollah. That did not happen. But unorthodox, definitely. Secondly, one of the first things I ever saw when I went to southern Lebanon with the UN was a big sign that said, if you think you understand southern Lebanon, you haven't been properly briefed. For our audience, this is confusing because it's just yet another conflict, but it's an age-old conflict. It's sort of what's new, what's old is new again. Israel has moved in 5 to 6 miles into southern Lebanon, land that they held for 18 years while Hezbollah fought with the Israeli troops there and also tried to launch attacks into northern Israel. So the Israeli government says we need this as a buffer zone. Hezbollah calls it an occupation because it's within their territory, but Hezbollah doesn't run the government, and the government and many people want Hezbollah gone, and they don't know what the solution is. So while Netanyahu is saying we won't bomb Beirut, speaking specifically of the Dahia area, which is the southern suburbs of Beirut, which is a Hezbollah stronghold, about 2/3 of people there have already been displaced. We're looking at 1.2 million people displaced in a population of about 6 million. Where are they going to go? Huge issues for Lebanon, the government, humanitarian crises, and then what happens in southern Lebanon. It looks like the Israeli Defense Forces are there to stay for a while, and they've had problems before. And so while there's not big bombings happening right now in Beirut, there are drones flying over the sky constantly. And one person in Beirut that I just spoke to this morning described it as a constant lawnmower in your ear, that loud, loud sound. It's not that people have taken a side. They just don't know where the next bomb is going to hit, if there is going to be a bomb, if they take the wrong right turn or left turn on the streets of Beirut. It has been very intense, and they're worn down and exhausted, and there doesn't seem to be a solution at hand.
So, I mean, this is an incredibly complicated situation that you just laid out, where it seems like a resolution is not in the immediate future. So all of these different chess pieces are moving around the board. You have that situation. You have Iran saying that they've walked away from negotiations with the U.S., but the president is saying, hey, actually, this is all happening. How critical of a piece is this dynamic between Israel and Lebanon to getting a deal between the U.S. and Iran?
It seems like it's the major sticking point right now. And while President Trump wants this to happen, and what he's posting is now looking a bit at wishful thinking, the foreign minister of Tehran described in his memoir a few years ago that it's bizarre negotiations, like a bazaar where you go shopping. It's the constant negotiation after negotiation after negotiation, and that's their style. So this is why it does seem like it's laborious, but it's just not southern Lebanon, and it's not just Hezbollah. It's still the Strait of Hormuz. It's still the enriched uranium, highly enriched uranium that they have to dispose of. So where do we go next? The president clearly signaling, out of all of this, that he wants talks, he wants peace, he wants this regional war between Israel and Hezbollah to stop, and he wants the Iran, U.S., and Israel involvement to stop. How we get there 3 months into this is the big wild card question.
All right, Courtney Kealy, always great to have your analysis, my friend. Thank you.